politically the youth have been left behind, and there is a narrative already created that a youth who is poor cannot get to power.
I'm always asking my leaders, have you ever asked yourself why the number of youth in Northern region consuming drugs are increasing, and yet the people who are to develop Northern region, the majority are the youth?
Majority of the youth are unemployed, and so when you are unemployed, you don't have money. Then secondly, majority of government programs that could have woken a youth up is also embezzled or corrupt by the same people in leadership or government. Therefore, it makes it very difficult for the youth to rise up without money in the hand, because sources where you could have received money from and you start from there have also been manipulated.
We are having an important discussion. My name is Ojom Daniel, and I have my two young activists from Northern Uganda. So today when you hear about the civic engagements, and it's something that it's talked about every day, you hear that the civic space is shrinking, and this is something that it's talked about in the whole of Uganda. Recently you saw, as we were moving towards elections, we had some of the civic, we had some of the organizations that had their work permits withdrawn because they were promoting civic education. Here I have my two guests, that is Brian and Geoffrey. So we're going to have a great discussion with them on their perspective in Northern Uganda. So I would like to straight away from Geoffrey. Geoffrey, maybe you could briefly tell us about the civic space in Northern Uganda. How do you see the civic space in Northern Uganda?
Thank you very much, my brother Dan. My name's, like you have said, Oko Geoffrey. I come from Northern Uganda, specifically Dokolo district. I'm an activist, like you have clearly stated. The civic space in Uganda today is actually shrinking. Very many people have described it differently: shrinking, alarming, worsening, in all sort of words you can bring in to clearly make people understand. I agree that through the civic space, for especially the youth, is shrinking day and night, and this calls for our engagement actively as the youth of the North. For example, my brother Dan, you will find that politically the youth have been left behind, and there is a narrative already created that a youth who is poor cannot get to power. It is now like being in power or taking a position of leadership are left only in the hands of the rich people. And now that the youth have small money, they cannot really assume any position in any elective position in office.
All right, thank you so much, Geoffrey.
Yes.
Geoffrey gives us his perspective of the current civic space in Northern Uganda. Maybe we can also listen to Brian.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother Dan. So when you're focusing deep down into civic space, you know, when you talk about civic space, this is like active participation of like the young people in their daily workings of the community, like involvement of the young youth into, be it politics, the social life, and economics. Yeah. So I see the youth in Northern region are totally, I don't know, can I say they are hidden the information, like of becoming powerful, of thinking critically right? I don't understand. But how I'm saying the youth are being categorized in something that cannot favor us if you continue keeping them like this. First of all, they are talked of so many things that youth cannot. That word alone, the youth cannot. What can the youth do? I'm always asking my leaders, have you ever asked yourself why the number of youth in Northern region consuming drugs are increasing, and yet the people who are to develop Northern region, the majority are the youth. I'm always asking myself, do leaders think about this? Do leaders think about the youth? What have they done to the youth? First of all, every year and then, when we have a budget allocated for the youth programs, I don't think there's any region, or I don't think there's any city or there's any town in Northern region that is benefiting from the youth livelihood programs. If yes, I have not seen successful youths making it in Northern region. I always ask myself, what is the problem? What is going wrong? Every little thing the youths are trying to do, that these ones, if we don't open our eyes, the youth are going to do this, they are going to mismanage the community, they are going to mismanage funds, they are going to do what? Please, I'm urging people who are responsible in the categorized offices, please, let's not look at the youth as something that is really harmful. The one thing all the youth need is direction. Once they're directed properly, once they're given the right way to move, the youth are just like humans, like the old people. Yeah? As long as you have brain, as long as you can think, as long as you can write, that means you can also accept development, you can also accept education.
Thank you so much, Brian. So Brian brings to us the perspective of the youth being called the leaders of tomorrow. I think we shall have a great dive into that as we continue. But then we listened to a submission from Geoffrey, who tells us that the young people, the civic space in the Northern region, it is shrinking, and it is shrinking very badly. And this is no difference from there is no difference with from other regions that also tell us that the civic space is shrinking. And then Brian goes ahead and tells us that we should not look at the young people as very harmful in our society. So leaders. And then also, I would also like to pose this question to you, Brian. Do you think that there is a chance that the young people are going to be given an opportunity to participate in the civic space, if at all they are not participating? But also, I also want you to share with me your perspective on the young people being called the leaders of tomorrow or the future leaders. Thank you.
I think that alone, calling youth the leaders of tomorrow, it's like a backup. But I don't think we shall have we shall have leaders tomorrow who are the youth today, when they are stopped accessing certain things. You feel, first of all, a leader right now, a leader tomorrow, they don't have any difference. If a youth cannot be a leader right now, tomorrow what is he going to do? When will tomorrow come? Tomorrow will not come. It is either now or never. There is no tomorrow. What is tomorrow? What if one day we all wake up, all youth are dead? What kind of future leaders shall we have? I think that the youth are the young people are the leaders of tomorrow. That is just like a phrase, a phrase for preventing youth from becoming leaders right now.
Wow, it's a beautiful submission from Brian. He is against the narrative or the false narrative that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow or the youth are the future leaders. So he's talking to the young people that we need to take the mandate right now. We need to take the responsibility of leadership right now. And he goes ahead to tell us that it is either now or never. So it is upon you, the young people outside there, to take the mantle right now, or you never be leaders. Because I'm sure that, you see, Brian, I really love your submission so much, because you will find that as a young person, those days when we were growing up, they used to tell us that if you're going for any political position, those positions are only preserved for the elderly. But I'm happy that we have young people who are now coming up, and they are now pushing for young people to take up leadership positions. Thank you so much, Brian. Now, to bring Geoffrey into the discussion. Yes, Geoffrey, yes. We can continue. Yeah. So, Geoffrey, maybe you are going to tell me what contribution can the young people bring into the civic space? Because I remember I asked Brian that, is there a chance that the young people have the contribution, and is there a chance that this civic space is going to enlarge in the future, or it is going to open up for the young people in the future? Geoffrey.
Thank you very much, Brother Dan. First of all, I would like to start by agreeing strongly with my brother Brian, who said the false narrative that the youth are the future leaders of tomorrow should stop. Because if this stops, then the youth shall start doing the right things. Keeping on believing that tomorrow the future will come and we shall be leaders will not make us go anywhere. It is better we start leadership now, then the results shall be seen. Coming back to your question, what the youth can do such that they are seen. I think the youth should generally stand strong and refuse some of these statements and take actions. For example, if youth do not contest positions, because it is at the back of people in some regions that positions like district chairperson, LC3s are left only for elderly people. You find very few youth contesting for such positions. But if we were to be strong enough, and during an election period you find at least in every position the youth is contesting, I think that would have brought the youth somewhere.
Just a quick one. You're saying that the youth would go and contest for political positions. But also, if you to look into the political space, if you look into the space of leadership in this country today, you find that the kind of politics that we have maybe does not favor the young people.
Yes.
It is monetary politics, whereby there is transactional politics, giving money and then you are elected. But also we have the population that is mostly engaged, that is mostly youthful. The statistics give us that the current population of the young people is over 75% of the population. Good. So how are the youth going to be engaged into politics without money?
The youth, like you have said, are the majority. And false narrative created that without money you cannot win. That is why I was bringing in a point that the youth should follow some of their things which are in government programs that would bring money into their hands.
There is a challenge that amongst these government programs, I've never seen any youth who has maybe benefited from this and is rich and they have that money that can take them to parliament or even chairperson of their area. So Brian, I would like you to give me your perspective considering the situation at hand or the current status quo. Do you think a young person can get a leadership position or can go to parliament?
Yeah, by the way, being a leader in Uganda, if you follow the constitution, does not call for like elders. I think according to Ugandan law, if you're 18 years, you're already an adult. You are matured enough.
And you can contest for any position.
And yeah, you can contest for any position as long as you have what? Qualification. I don't think whether the constitution says as long as you have money. That's why I'm telling this issue of the youth don't have money. That does not have that has nothing to do with what? Politics.
Brian,
you understand? So I'm going down. I don't want. I'm saying this like to bring out the youth out there. Let them not be stuck in one place because they don't have money. They cannot do it. They can. You have the ability. If you feel you want to become the youth leader of your area, please express your feeling. If your inner feeling is telling you the next day you need to become the youth leader of your area, you have the ability. Whether the youth leader in your area is old or what, you try out. Say your mind. Community will agree with you, or people will agree with you. Once they decide to make, remember, power belongs to people, not only an individual. Even if you find out that these are individuals saying youth don't have money, I've never seen a statement generally in Uganda saying youth don't have money, they cannot compete for. These are greedy people who are saying it. These are corrupt people who are saying this because they know the youth are very vibrant and they are ready to serve in a very right way.
Brian tells us that the young people are not poor. The young people should not give up on contesting for political positions in this country. I would love us to think widely that could this position, could this point go beyond saying the youth are poor or the youth do not have money to go for elective positions? Could we have some gaps in this country that affects the young people to get into these positions? let me first finish, Brian, and then I'll bring you on board, Geoffrey. So could we have some barriers that are leading to this? Maybe policy gaps, maybe the environment itself. What is the environment like for the young people?
Dan, I don't see any other gap apart from the money gap. Because first of all, you have just said the youth are the majority. But it is this majority who are also majority when it comes to unemployment. Majority of the youth are unemployed, and so when you are unemployed, you don't have money. Then secondly, majority of government programs that could have woken a youth up is also embezzled or corrupt by the same people in leadership or government. Therefore, it makes it very difficult for the youth to rise up without money in the hand, because sources where you could have received money from and you start from there have also been manipulated. So I don't think this goes beyond money.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Geoffrey. Then do you want to give us your final parting shot before we go into our next topic of discussion?
Yeah, all in all, there's only one thing I see. If we talk about youth being poor, youth having no money, people who are in leadership are in charge of this. Because ask yourself, why are they poor? Did you come with any idea why the youth are poor? Is it because youth, as they say, they like drugs more than work? Is there anyone on this earth who doesn't want access to basic needs? Really? That means the so-called people who call themselves like the faces of tomorrow, like they brought the peace, why they're protecting the peace. I don't know. I don't know. That's where that statement comes, but it's circulating anywhere. You feel? So I understand to my own capacity that the youth in Uganda, not alone, but northern region here, are being affected along by the so-called leaders in position. They don't give that little bread to the youth. They don't give that little space to the youth. How I wish there's a platform, a dialogue for the youth to discuss their mind, and they see the kind of strong minds the youth have.
I want to give you a point of information, okay, if you may allow. An example, like in the case of cattle compensation, which is ongoing in the Lango sub-region, Acholi and Teso. They are saying priorities, among the priorities who are supposed to get, they are saying one of them must be unemployed youth. A youth who is not employed is among the beneficiaries who should get the 5 million first. But as we talk, if you go to different parishes and you do your analysis to find out whether it is true that a youth in a certain parish has got that money, you will find adults, people of 70s, people of 50s, people who are able.
Are you sure?
Majority of the youth are not getting this.
Yeah.
They are not getting.
Very right. That reminds me of Naba.
Challenge me in my parish where I come from, no youth has got it. Everybody who got are the adults. Yet the guideline is saying a youth should be there, a youth should get.
All right, thank you so much, Geoffrey and Brian, for your submissions. I think we shall get into the guidelines later and try to look through whether we have the young people as the youth as the beneficiary of this cattle compensation fund from government.